Hey, looking to sell your medical practice in 2023? I have a ton of tips here, but one is really so simple you wouldn't believe it's possible. Hey everyone, my name is The Real Theo Harvey, and I'm a medical health business consultant as well as a digital health entrepreneur. I've been doing this for over a decade. I help doctors, medical practitioners, family nurse practitioners understand the business of healthcare and help them grow their revenues 6 and 7 figures. Well, look, let's talk a little bit about what does it mean to sell your medical practice. Well, one of the first things you have to do is get evaluation. What does that mean? You probably would need to go to a business broker who can give you a sense of what their comps or comparables of a practice of your size would get in the open market if a buyer wanted to buy your company. The challenge is, number one, we're in a depressed economy due to the recession right now. So obviously that's going to have an effect on everything. But one of the things that you need to be aware of is that how they're going to evaluate your company is based on the revenues you bring in. That's basically correlated to what you're bringing in in terms of the services you provide, as well as your patient population mix, as well as also looking at some of your expenses, right? What you're spending to build up your practice. If you're solo practice, you'll see roughly around 650K in revenue up to $1 million. That's the natural average from 2018. So what does that mean for you? So when they look at your business, they'll look at that revenue that you brought in and they'll give you a multiple of that revenue. And that multiple can be kind of low. Right now, the last numbers I saw were about 0.7 and 0.5x of your revenue. So yes, that sucks because basically you bring in 650,000 in revenue and you're looking at only being valued around 300K. That is unheard of. So this is why this is important to kind of think of new strategies of how you increase that valuation before you think about selling. So here are some kind of tips to kind of think through that. First, let's go into a little bit about why this is. The reason why it's so low is because if you are the one that's doing everything for the business, what's going to happen is they're going to be struggle to figure out like what would happen if you disappeared from the business. God forbid something happens to you. Where will all your patients go? They'll probably leave because they have a relationship with you. So your revenue will dry up and that business will be dead at that point. So that is why it's important that you as a medical practitioner to start thinking about how you can work with providing other services that do not rely on you and also are revenue producing. So one thing I'm seeing a lot of family practitioners, internal medicine individuals look at, even some pulmonology specialists, look at different type of services you can offer that don't require you to do the job itself. And you can bring in lower cost resources like MAs and others. One of the things that we're seeing is a lot of doctors are looking to get into cosmetics. They're looking at how they can do things like Botox, anything that's simple that they can bring in individuals to come in and looking for beauty uptick. This is a great idea because it helps with the revenue side of it, like we talked about, and there's some profitability, but the challenge is it's probably outside your niche. And so you may not know how to market that as well. So it may be difficult to get the patients you need. So a better idea is looking at other sources of revenue that you can generate that's going to be recurring and also doesn't require your direct involvement. And that's where the chronic care management services like remote patient monitoring, remote therapeutic monitoring are really important because they bring in passive income, especially if you bring in third parties to kind of manage your patients when they're not with you. This is really important because CMS has dictated that these resources are so important because they help lower the cost of healthcare. Because you're helping manage patients who typically go to the hospital and preventing them from going to the hospital over and over again, driving up the healthcare costs, CMS is incentivizing practitioners to do these services. So we're seeing in some cases where a lot of our practitioners are looking at getting up to $200 per patient per month in additional revenue. If you do the math, you're looking at 200 patients on average on the small practice that could be qualified for these programs. You're looking at close to about 500K in revenue that you can generate with these type of programs. So this is something that you may want to look at going forward and bringing in additional revenue for your practice. So that's revenue growth. One of the things you want to look at as well is just expenses, right? How do you kind of manage your expenses? One of the things is making sure you're understanding your operations, making sure you understand your cash flows, making sure you understand your billing systems effectively, going to your EMRs, making sure they're updated with the latest patient information so you're not misbilling or getting a lot of rebills. This is really important so that you make sure the practice is is doing well with how they're managing the patients. One of the other things too, to increase your patient base, you want to look at ways you can increase the number of patients that go into your practice on a daily basis. One of the great things I've seen that's worked really well, we've helped our clients do this, is prior to the patient checking out, have them fill out a survey, a simple questionnaire, how they like the service, and recommend you on Google and Yelp. Recommendations are huge. Why do you think Amazon does it? If you notice, you go to Amazon and they have all these reviews next to any type of thing that you're looking to buy. This is exactly why it's so important to kind of work with the patients to ensure they fill out this review prior to checking out, so that when someone's looking up your name and they see you, then they'll be able to ensure that they have a good experience because someone that looks like them or another patient gave you a high review. So those are some of the key areas we think will help you. Another good thing to kind of help grow revenue, if you're looking to sell over the next 12 months, is really get yourself out there, doing things like speaking engagements, walking in the community. Some of you may be already doing that, but this is really key because it gives you a presence in the community, but more importantly, you see other patients, other potential folks who want to come visit you, your hospital, your doctor, wherever you're located at, to kind of help you in this experience. So this is key to kind of go with the patients and making sure that you get the new patients coming in on a consistent basis into your clinic. And that's really key. And one of the other things, do YouTube, go on podcasts, put yourself out there even more so that you can build up this groundswell of individuals who want to come to your practice. So those are kind of some of the key areas that I see that works really well for practices who want to sell their medical practice here in 2023. You really need to first focus on revenue, look at new resources to generate additional revenue, recurring revenue models like remote patient monitoring, CCM. These are some of the things that my company CenterMed does at length with a lot of our practitioners. Another thing you want to look at is your operations and your data, making sure it's accurate so you're not losing money. You want to lower costs where you can and looking at resources that you may not need, or getting low cost resources like MAs in places where you may have had higher cost resources like NPs. And then you want to also get out to the community and expose yourself more so that you can communicate the value you bring to new patients who want to come. And then finally, you want to do these reviews prior to the patient checking out. You want to make sure that you get that review so that when people see you on the internet, which is what they're searching for all the time, you make sure that you find someone that looks like them that recommends you, just like Amazon does. So if you like this content, hope you enjoyed it. Please like, subscribe, click on the alert. Hopefully this will be great content for you to show how you can sell your medical practice in 2023. Thank you.